There comes a point in life when you realize that not everyone who starts with you is meant to finish with you. And that's one of the hardest lessons you'll ever have to learn, because your heart wants to hold on, but your growth is trying to move on. You've got to understand, not everyone deserves access to you. Some people were only meant to play a chapter in your story, not the whole book. And the moment you stop trying to keep people who've already chosen to walk away, you'll feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Peace. Peace is more valuable than popularity. You can spend your whole life trying to please people, trying to earn their approval, trying to make them see your worth. But you'll never win that game, because validation is a bottomless pit. Once you start chasing it, it owns you. When you stop performing for acceptance, you start growing in purpose. You don't need the crowd to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself enough to stay consistent when nobody's watching. You can't heal while holding on to what's hurting you. You can't move forward while dragging the weight of who left. There's a reason some doors close. Not because you failed, but because you finished that season. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're cold. It means you love yourself enough to choose peace over pain. And that's a decision of strength, not weakness. The truth is, some people can't go where you're going. They were meant to teach you something, not travel with you forever. Growth will always require separation. And I know it feels lonely sometimes. You start wondering, why is everybody disappearing? But sometimes elevation feels like isolation. That's how life tests your focus. It removes distractions not to hurt you, but to prepare you. When you're alone, you start hearing your own thoughts again. You start rediscovering your values, your vision, your voice. You start realizing that solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. Energy goes where focus flows. If you keep spending energy on people who left, you'll have nothing left for the person you're becoming. Protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. Every ounce of focus you waste on the past is a moment stolen from your potential. It's time to stop feeding what drained you and start pouring into what's inside you. The right people will recognize your light without you having to dim it to make them comfortable. And here's the truth. Becoming better is louder than proving points. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to chase closure. Your consistency will be your statement. Your discipline will be your defense. Your peace will be your proof. Let your progress make the noise. When you keep showing up, when you keep working, when you keep evolving, the world will notice. You just keep building in silence and let your results speak in volumes. So let them go. Let go of who left, what hurt, and what no longer serves your purpose. Because when you release what's not for you, you make space for what is. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. They weren't called to walk it. Focus on yourself. Focus on your growth, your healing, your purpose. Because the greatest revenge, the greatest response, and the greatest peace all come from one thing: becoming everything they said you couldn't. Not everyone deserves access to you. That's a truth that's hard to accept, because most of us have a heart that wants to help, to give, to pour into others. But not everyone you pour into is supposed to drink from your cup. Some people come into your life to take, not to build. And if you're not careful, you'll keep giving energy to people who never had the intention of growing with you. You'll confuse loyalty with limitation. You'll think holding on makes you strong when sometimes the real strength is in walking away. You've got to protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. You can't let everyone have access to your mind, your time, and your energy. Some people only come around when they need something. Some only stay as long as you're convenient. But access to you should cost something. It should cost consistency, honesty, and respect. Because you can't build with people who don't value the foundation. Sometimes you've got to stop explaining yourself to people who've already made up their mind about you. You can't convince people to see your worth if they're committed to misunderstanding you. That's not your battle. Your job is to protect your space so your purpose can breathe. Every time you let the wrong person close, you risk letting the wrong energy disrupt your growth. So stop apologizing for outgrowing people. Stop shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. If they can't respect your boundaries, they don't deserve your presence. The truth is, your value doesn't increase or decrease based on who chooses to stay. Some people were only meant to play a temporary role, and that's okay. When they walk away, don't chase them. Don't beg for clarity. Just understand that their exit was an answer. Some doors only open when certain people leave your life. And sometimes losing them isn't a loss. It's the beginning of finding yourself. Peace is more valuable than popularity. Because what good is it to have everyone clapping for you if you can't sleep at night? What good is it to be liked by the world, but lost within yourself? So many people chase acceptance, trying to fit into circles that were never designed for them just to feel seen. But peace will always be worth more than applause. The truth is, when you start walking in purpose, not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to understand you. And that's perfectly fine, because peace is the reward for alignment, not agreement. You've got to stop performing for validation. Stop exhausting yourself trying to impress people who don't even value the real you. You can spend your whole life trying to please everyone, but the moment you stop doing what they expect, their loyalty changes. That's why peace is the real measure of success, because peace can't be taken, faked, or bought. It's something you earn when you live in truth. Sometimes peace will cost you people. Sometimes peace will cost you opportunities. But if you ever have to trade your character to keep a connection, that connection isn't meant to last. When you choose peace, you choose clarity. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop chasing every rumor. You stop defending yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You realize silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you value your energy. Popularity fades. Trends die. Opinions change. But peace stays. Because peace comes from knowing you're doing what's right, even when it's not recognized. It comes from standing on your values when it would have been easier to blend in. You'll reach a point in life where you stop chasing being liked and start chasing being free. And that freedom, that calm, that inner stillness, that's what makes you powerful. Peace isn't about the noise around you. It's about the strength within you. You can't heal while holding on. You can't step into your next chapter while your hands are still gripping what broke you in the last one. Healing requires release. But that's the part we struggle with most. Letting go of what we thought should have been. We replay the hurt, the betrayal, the disappointment over and over like somehow the past will change if we feel it enough times. But pain doesn't disappear because you hold on to it. It disappears when you decide you've carried it long enough. Some people in situations were only meant to teach you, not stay with you. But because we get comfortable in familiar pain, we start confusing it for loyalty. We keep trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. We keep reopening doors that were closed for a reason. And every time we do, we delay our healing. You can't rebuild your peace in the same place you lost it. Sometimes you've got to let go, not because they were wrong every time, but because you deserve to be whole again. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean the memories don't matter. It means you're choosing to stop living in the wounds and start living in the lessons. Because every scar tells a story, but it's not supposed to be your identity. You're not what happened to you. You're what you became after it. Healing begins the moment you stop asking, why me? And start saying, thank you for what it taught me. The longer you hold on to pain, the more power it has over you. But when you release it, when you forgive, when you stop fighting for explanations you may never get, that's when peace returns. Sometimes closure isn't a conversation, it's a decision. And that decision says, I'm done carrying what doesn't belong to me anymore. Because the truth is you can't heal while holding on. You can't grab what's next if your hands are still full of what hurt you. Growth requires separation. It's one of the hardest truths you'll ever face because it means realizing that elevation and comfort don't live in the same space. You can't become who you're meant to be while staying surrounded by what keeps you average. Sometimes to rise, you have to release. Growth will pull you away from people, environments, and habits that once felt like home, not because they're bad, but because they no longer match your level of purpose. When you start growing, not everyone will understand it. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. You're supposed to. You're not meant to stay the same after pain, after lessons, after everything you've been through. Growth means you're evolving, refining, maturing. It means you've stopped chasing comfort and started chasing calling. But the moment you step into that space, you'll notice something. The circle gets smaller, the noise gets quieter, and the focus gets sharper. That's not loneliness, that's alignment. Sometimes separation is the only way to hear your own voice again. You've been so surrounded by opinions, expectations, and distractions that you forgot what your spirit sounds like. But when life starts stripping things away, when people start falling off, it's not punishment, it's preparation. It's life clearing space for what's next. And though it hurts, that season of isolation will produce more growth than any crowd ever could. You've got to trust the process even when it feels uncomfortable. A seed has to be buried before it can bloom. In the dark, in silence, it begins to grow. That's what your separation season is. Buried potential transforming into visible purpose. You might lose people, you might lose opportunities, but you'll gain something far more valuable: clarity, discipline, and direction. So when people walk away, don't chase. When things fall apart, don't panic. Growth has a cost, and separation is part of the payment. Let it happen. Because the version of you that's coming out of this season will make sense of every person, place, and pain you had to leave behind. Energy goes where focus flows. Whatever you feed with your attention grows stronger. If all your focus is on who left, what didn't work, and what's wrong in your life, that's exactly what will multiply. But if you start focusing on your goals, your healing, your discipline, everything around you begins to shift. Because focus is power. It's the difference between movement and progress, between being busy and being effective. You've got to guard your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. Every distraction comes with a price. Every time you give energy to drama, to comparison, to negativity, you rob your purpose of its strength. The mind is a battlefield, and the enemy of progress is divided attention. You can't pour into your future while you're still obsessed with your past. You can't expect peace if your focus is always on problems. You can't expect growth if your attention keeps circling around what drains you. Start being intentional with your energy. Not everyone and not everything deserves a response. Some things are better left unanswered, not because you're weak, but because your focus is too valuable to waste. Maturity is realizing you don't have to fight every battle. Some peace is found in silence. When you shift your focus from proving yourself to improving yourself, that's when your life changes. Energy is like sunlight. Wherever you direct it, things begin to grow. So ask yourself, what am I feeding? Am I feeding my fears or my faith? Am I feeding my distractions or my destiny? Because you can't expect to build a powerful life on scattered focus. Put your energy where your purpose lies. Water what you want to see flourish. Every successful person you've ever seen mastered this truth. They stopped trying to control everything outside and started mastering everything inside. Their energy wasn't in people's opinions. It was in their own work ethic, their consistency, their belief. When you start aligning your energy with your goals, the world around you begins to align too. So protect your focus, because the moment you lose it, you lose momentum. But when you keep your eyes on your purpose, everything else falls in place. Becoming better is louder than proving points. You don't have to defend yourself to people who don't understand your journey. You don't have to explain your vision to those who were never meant to see it. Every second you spend trying to convince someone of your worth is a second stolen from your growth. Let your work speak. Let your discipline talk for you. Let your progress make the noise. Because silence backed by consistency will always echo louder than arguments backed by emotion. Too many people waste energy trying to prove something to others. To prove they're right, to prove they're enough, to prove they're winning. But the truth is, real confidence doesn't announce itself, it shows itself. When you focus on becoming better, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, the results become your response. You don't have to say a word. You just keep showing up, doing the work, and building quietly. Eventually, your growth will speak in places your words never could. There's a power in humility. It doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're patient. It means you understand that time will reveal what talk tries to hide. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You don't need to clap back. Because the truth is, the best way to silence doubt is through development. The best way to answer critics is through consistency. The best way to prove them wrong is to stop trying to prove anything at all. Your energy belongs to your evolution, not your explanation. Every day you get the choice to waste time arguing with people who don't believe in you, or to invest that time in becoming so great they can't ignore you. Choose the work, choose the grind. Choose becoming the person who no longer needs to prove a point because their life has already become the evidence. So stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. Stop chasing approval and start chasing excellence. Because becoming better, in silence, with focus, with discipline, will always be louder than proving points. Results have a volume words can't reach. And when your growth starts speaking for you, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to listen. At some point, you have to make a decision a decision to stop chasing what's behind you and start investing in what's within you. Life will always test your focus. It will challenge your peace, your patience, your circle, and your strength. But every test is shaping something in you. Every separation, every silence, every setback, it's preparing you for a season where your growth speaks louder than your pain ever could. You don't need to hold on to what's gone. You don't need to keep proving your worth to people who never saw it. You don't need to trade your peace for popularity. Your focus is your weapon. Your energy is your currency. Protect it. Pour it into the person you're becoming, not the past that tried to break you. Because when you finally learn to let go, when you finally choose yourself, everything changes. There's power in peace. There's strength in solitude. And there's freedom in knowing that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your growth. The people meant for your journey will meet you at your next level. The rest were just part of the lesson. So keep building, keep believing, and keep becoming. Because when you focus on yourself, when you choose purpose over approval and growth over gossip, that's when you become unstoppable.